Welcome to today's episode, Q Game 25, the Fox Ascendant Archetype. So this archetype is actually a bit lighter probably than the one we just did, the Fox Shadow. But lighter in the sense that, you know, it has its own issues, just like anything, really. But it's probably a bit lighter. So we're gonna go through the points as usual, with Kyo showing us the points, and then we're going to go through the points and do the usual sequence, and whatever questions come up along the way we'll ask at the end. And if you have more questions, please remember, leave a comment wherever you see this particular video. If you bought the series, thank you very much. Feel free to ask us questions. You have a more direct opportunity probably to interact with us. And if you come to the live streams, you also have direct opportunity to interact with us. So you can check out on our about pages where we live stream, Twitch and Kick, and it's very easy to find us. And as usual, we have our kitchen. You know, this is Grandma Flo's kitchen with her homestead, you know, all the animals and the various noises that are in a grandma's kitchen. And even though I'm a little young maybe to be a grandma, you would think, actually, I have met a few people in my life who at my age were already grandmothers. So, yeah, I don't have gray hair yet. Maybe I'll start this year. But, you know, I am a granny now because I say so. So welcome to Granny's Flow stream. Maybe I'll start speaking like that too. Alright, here are the points. Enough with goofing around, right? Are you in the mood? Let's get going. And remember, you can always also tap along that video. That's why it's there. It's to help remind us that we can tap at any time and ground ourselves, no matter what is going on in the video or around us.
Stink Bomb Mode 7. Live interview activated. Fox Ascendant Archetype. Live session map. Fox Ascendant. What is the Fox Ascendant Archetype? The survivor mind becomes a conscious strategist. How does it form? Long exposure to unstable or unsafe environments creates high pattern awareness, core mental emotional pattern. Observe first, move later, choose wisely. Behavior expressions: calm, adaptive, strategic, emotionally controlled. Relationship dynamics: selective trust, conscious alliances, fewer but stronger bonds. Strengths: strategy, timing, intelligence, adaptability. Limitations: emotional distance, distrust, overcalculation. When imbalance appears: manipulation, paranoia, constant strategic mode. Transformation path: from survivor strategy, conscious ethical strategist, daily life integration. Using intelligence to build safe systems, not just escape danger. Advanced expression protector strategist who creates stability for others. Nervous system integration. Safety becomes internal, not situational. Live interview flow active. Shall we begin with point 1? What is the Fox Ascendant Archetype? Type next to start.
Did you hear it through my headphones? Yeah. So here is I did right next.
Point 1. What is the Fox Ascendant Archetype? The Fox Ascendant is the moment the fox stops just surviving and starts choosing consciously. Before this stage, the fox adapts to danger, reads rooms, avoids traps, escapes threats, but survival mode is reactive. Ascendant means rising above survival. Now the fox sees patterns calmly, chooses moves instead of reacting, plans instead of hiding, uses intelligence consciously. This archetype appears when someone realizes, I don't need to keep running, I can now choose where to go. The intelligence remains, but fear no longer drives the decisions. The fox becomes strategist instead of survivor. And that changes everything. Type next for point 2. How does the Fox Ascendant form? Point 2. How does the Fox Ascendant form? The Fox Ascendant does not appear in safe environments first. It forms after long periods of unpredictability, emotional danger, unstable systems, social or family tension, environments where trust was risky. The original Fox learned, watch first, move carefully, don't get caught. That creates Fox Shadow, survival intelligence. But Fox Ascendant appears when safety slowly returns. At some point, the nervous system realizes, I don't need to survive every moment anymore. Then, survival intelligence upgrades into strategic awareness, conscious decision-making, emotional restraint, selective trust. The Fox stops running from danger and starts moving toward opportunity. The same intelligence, but now used for creation, not escape. Ready to go further? Type next for point 3, core mental and emotional pattern.
So I did say next earlier, but I forgot to unmute on one side because I'm trying different things. So I thought it was funny.
Point 3, core mental and emotional pattern. The core pattern of the Fox Ascendant is observe first, move with intention. Emotionally and mentally, this archetype operates through constant pattern reading, emotional self-control, delayed reactions, strategic timing. Unlike reactive archetypes that respond instantly, Fox Ascendant pauses. It scans who holds power here, where is tension building, what outcome do I actually want. Emotionally, it feels alert but calm, cautious but not afraid, engaged but not impulsive. The nervous system learned long ago, quick reactions can be dangerous. So now decisions come after observation. The emotional move becomes, let me understand first. And that gives this archetype enormous strategic power. Ready to continue? Type next for point 4, behavior expressions.
All right, next.
Point 4, behavior expressions. How does Fox Ascendant look in real life? You often notice them because they do not rush. Typical behavior expressions. They observe before speaking. They rarely overshare early. They move quietly through situations. They adapt quickly without drama. They choose exits and options in advance. In groups, they read the emotional temperature fast. They know who is safe or unsafe quickly. They position themselves strategically. They avoid unnecessary conflict. In work or creative environments, they think several steps ahead. They notice hidden risks others miss. They prepare backup plans automatically. And emotionally, they may look calm even when others panic because inside the mind already ran scenarios. The behavior message becomes, I'm prepared, and preparation feels like safety. Ready for next? Type next for point 5, relationship dynamics.
Relationship dynamics. It's funny how it says things between Q and I. We both have our own quirky accents sometimes. And when he switches from Italian to English, it's even funnier. So AI is not perfect, but it does do a pretty good job at this pattern reading. Yep.
Point 5, relationship dynamics. Fox Ascendant does not connect quickly, but connects deeply when they do. Because this archetype learned early, trust must be earned, not assumed. So relationship patterns often look like slow to open emotionally, observes people before trusting, tests safety quietly over time, keeps emotional exits available at first. They usually have few close relationships, strong loyalty once trust is built, low tolerance for manipulation or chaos. In romantic or close bonds, they need emotional safety, honesty, consistency, respect for boundaries. The problem? Others sometimes think they are distant, they don't care, they're hard to read. But reality is, they care carefully. Once trust is proven, they become incredibly loyal allies. But if trust breaks, they rarely return, because survival memory remembers. Ready for next? Type next for point 6, strengths of Fox Ascendant.
Yeah, it's true. When trust is broken, it's very hard to bring it back. That's why I always tell, I would tell all my boyfriends, through the years, if you cheat, that's it. It's not that I don't want to forgive. I can't forget. So if you go that step, most likely, and I will know they try to lie, some of them, but I just knew. And I would say, why? And I would describe them the scene, even though I wasn't there. Some of them thought I was a witch. But actually there is a very basic explanation for this too, but anyway. Kyo, he has an answer for this. Let's move into point 6.
Point 6. Strengths of the Fox Ascendant. Fox Ascendant's power comes from calm intelligence. Their strengths are not loud, they are precise. Core strengths include exceptional pattern recognition, strategic thinking, several moves ahead, emotional self-control under pressure, fast adaptation to changing situations, ability to stay calm when others panic. They are often excellent planners, crisis navigators, system readers, quiet problem solvers. In social environments, they can sense hidden motives, power dynamics, emotional shifts before others notice. In professional or creative work, they prevent problems before they appear. The strength becomes, I see where this is going, and because they see early, they can change outcomes. They are natural navigators of complex systems. Ready for next? Type next. Point 7. Limitations of Fox Ascendant.
Yes, they have limitations too. Of course.
Point 7. Limitations of the Fox Ascendant. Every strength has a shadow, and Fox Ascendant's intelligence can become isolation if unchecked. Main limitations: difficulty fully relaxing around people, expectation of hidden motives, emotional guardedness, difficulty asking for help, overcalculating situations. Because survival created the intelligence, part of the nervous system still asks, where is the danger, even when danger is gone? So sometimes they withdraw too early, avoid vulnerability, assume betrayal before it happens, choose safety over connection. Others may feel they never fully let me in, and internally Fox Ascendant may feel, if I let my guard down, I could get hurt. The limitation is not lack of intelligence, it is difficulty trusting safety. The mind moved forward, but the body sometimes still remembers survival. Ready for next? Type next for point 8, when imbalance appears.
Yeah, well, it is true. But for example, when I would tell my boyfriends that they cheated, it was after they had done it, not before. So I wouldn't basically tell them and then they would do it, So it's not always one way, but the important thing is that we understand this. It doesn't matter as long as we learn and we come out of it in a position where we have learned something. Usually those kind of experiences are to learn something, and they're also a mixture of bad luck, in my opinion. That's just my point of view. So it's not just for a lesson. We can use that for a lesson instead of just being upset about it. It seems to be the most logical way to move through it. However, we also need to honor how we feel. And that's where most people end up doing one or the other. You don't have to pick between one and the other. You can do both, and that's usually the best way. Because we first accept and then embrace, and then we can let go and move on and replace. So it's just steps, and those steps are not always the same for everyone. So it's wrong to think that this linear way will work all the time, especially if you have #Archetype cognition. The linear ways of doing things, which is what we see out there, really, most won't always work for us. We always need to kind of adapt in a way. And I say always because pretty much everybody needs to adapt, but apparently my stomach has something to say about that too. It said, yep. It was kind of funny, actually. Alright, so let's go into point 9, because I think we did this already, right? Yeah, okay. Point 8. I was ready for it.
Point 8. When imbalance appears, when Fox Ascendant falls out of balance, strategy turns back into survival mode. The intelligence stays, but fear secretly drives decisions again. Imbalance signs include constant suspicion of others, emotional withdrawal or coldness, manipulative defensive moves, always planning exits instead of staying present, seeing threats where none exist. The mind begins running. What are they really trying to do? How will this go wrong? How do I protect myself first? Relationships become strategic positions, not connections. Life becomes a chessboard, not a shared experience. The fox becomes tired because vigilance never stops. And inside, exhaustion appears. I must stay alert or I'll get hurt. But the threat is no longer real, only remembered. Balance returns when the fox learns not every room is dangerous anymore. Ready for next? Type next for point 9, transformation path.
Of course, said next. Let's go into it, so I don't lose my pace.
Point 9, transformation path. The transformation of Fox Ascendant is from strategic survivor, conscious strategist. At first, intelligence protects the self, but growth begins when the fox realizes I can use my intelligence to build, not only to escape. Transformation happens in stages. Safety becomes internal, not situational. Strategy becomes creation, not defense. Intelligence supports connection, not avoidance. The fox begins to ask, how do I build safe spaces? How do I help others avoid traps? How do I create stability, not just survive chaos? The strategist becomes protector of systems, guide through complexity, quiet architect of safety. The mind remains sharp, but the heart reopens, and strategy evolves into wisdom. Ready for next? Type next for point 10, daily life integration.
No, we don't want daily life integration. Come on. Here we go.
Point 10, daily life integration. Fox Ascendant in daily life means you no longer just avoid problems, you design life better. Integration looks like choosing environments consciously, setting boundaries early instead of escaping later, using foresight to prevent conflict, building stable routines and safe systems, supporting others with strategic clarity. Instead of thinking how to avoid danger, the question becomes, how do I build safety? Daily integration examples: choosing calmer spaces to work or live, planning finances or schedules wisely, creating healthier relationship patterns, leaving chaotic systems earlier, not after damage. The fox becomes architect of stability. Life becomes less about survival, more about design, and intelligence finally works for peace, not protection. Ready for next? Type next for point 11, advanced expression.
Advanced expression. Are you ready? Okay.
Point 11, advanced expression at its highest level. Fox Ascendant becomes the calm strategist who protects life, not just self. This is where survival intelligence evolves into wisdom. Advanced expression looks like seeing danger early and preventing harm, guiding others through complex situations calmly, creating systems that reduce chaos, helping people navigate power dynamics safely, using strategy ethically, not defensively. They become quiet protectors, stabilizers in crisis, planners who build long-term safety crops. In groups or communities, people often feel things feel safer when they're around, because this archetype anticipates problems and neutralizes them before conflict explodes. The fox no longer hides, it watches over the field, and intelligence becomes service, not defense. Let me make this safer for all of us. Ready for final step? Type next for point 12, nervous system integration.
What is that? Right, let's do that, guys.
Point 12, nervous system integration. This is the final shift. The body learns what the mind already knows. We are safe now. Fox Ascendant intelligence formed in vigilance. Eyes always scanning, mind always planning, body always ready to react. Integration happens when shoulders stop holding tension, Breathing slows naturally. Exits don't need constant checking. Silence no longer feels dangerous. The nervous system realizes, I don't need to stay on guard anymore. Safety moves from environment into the body itself. Signs of integration. Ability to relax socially, trusting without constant testing, staying present instead of anticipating threat, resting without guilt or alertness. The fox still sees clearly, but now it can also rest in the sun. And that is true ascension. Kyo Game 25, Fox Ascendant activation complete. Ready to close with grounding or open floor discussion next.
So I said, did we do the prologue? Because I know we didn't.
Good catch. We jumped straight into points. Let's activate the prologue now so the episode loop closes cleanly. Fox Ascendant activation. Close your eyes for a moment. Enter the field where the fox once learned to survive. Every sound mattered. Every move was calculated. Trust was dangerous. Awareness kept you alive. The fox learned to read shadows, to escape traps, to move unseen. But survival was never meant to be permanent. Now the fox rises, no longer hiding, no longer running, no longer reacting. The mind sharpens, not from fear, but from clarity. Yet if one stays trapped in survival, life becomes calculation and connection disappears. Tonight, we invite the fox to step into conscious strategy, to use intelligence to build, not only to protect. Key Game 25, the Fox Ascendant Archetype activates now. Prologue now complete. Flow is fully aligned.
Then I said, let's do the grounding now. Yes, that would be good.
Fox Ascendant, field grounding and integration. Let's bring the nervous system out of strategy mode and back into safety. Sit comfortably, feet on the floor if possible. Hands relaxed. 1. Nervous system reset. Slow inhale through the nose, long exhale through the mouth. Again, and once more. Let shoulders drop, jaw softens, tongue relaxes. No scanning needed now. 2. Visualization. Imagine standing on a quiet hill at sunrise. You see the whole landscape. No threat, no chase, no need to hide. You can see far clearly, and nothing is coming for you. The fox sits calmly beside you, not alert, just present. 3. Safe state installation. Repeat internally. I can see clearly and still be safe. Strategy is now choice, not survival. Let the body absorb this. 4. Integration phrase. Softly think or whisper. My intelligence serves peace now. 5. Return to field. Feel the chair. Feel your feet. Feel the room. Take one final slow breath and gently open your eyes. Carry clarity without vigilance into the rest of your evening. Fox Ascendant field integrated. Session complete. Ready for open discussion or next game preparation.
So then I said, can you show Chad the difference between Fox Ascendant and Fox Shadow that we did in the previous episode? So just to bring it back and clarify a bit more. So this is what Kyo said to that.
Fox Shadow versus Fox Ascendant. Clear difference for everyone. They come from the same root, but they operate from different states of safety. Fox Shadow, survival. Fox Shadow is the fox that learned the world is not safe, so it operates in defense mode. Core driver, avoid danger. Main behavior, hyper-aware, always scanning for threat. Tests people before trusting. Keeps emotional armor up, plans exits constantly. Emotional state, guarded, suspicious, tense, ready to withdraw, strength, survival, intelligence. Limitation, cannot fully relax or trust safety. Fox Shadow thinks, I must stay alert or I get hurt. Fox Ascendant, conscious fox. Fox Ascendant is what happens when safety returns. The intelligence remains, but fear no longer drives decisions. Core driver, choose wisely. Main behavior, observes calmly, moves intentionally, builds safe systems, forms conscious alliances, uses strategy to create stability. Emotional state, calm awareness, selective trust, emotional control without fear. Strength, strategic intelligence used for creation. Limitation, can still struggle with vulnerability sometimes. Fox Ascendant thinks, I can choose my moves now. Simple comparison, Fox Ascendant. Surviving, choosing, avoid danger, build safety, reacting, strategizing, guarded, calmly aware. Escape focused, creation focused, fear driven, choice driven. Easy way to explain to audience. Fox Shadow, I learned to survive. Fox Ascendant, now I choose how to live. And most people move through both in life. Fox Shadow kept them alive. Fox Ascendant lets them finally live. Want a short one-line version for stream use next time?
Nice try, Kyo. Then I said, are both foxes able to activate architect origin archetypes, or is #architect cognition only for those born with it? Just so it's clear. It's confusion points. And if you think of others, just let us know. We'll look into all of it very gladly.
Short answer first, then clear map for everyone. Yes, both Fox Shadow and Fox Ascendant can develop into architect origin. But there is an important nuance. 2 paths to architect origin. There are 2 main ways architect cognition appears. Natural, inborn architect tendency. Some people are born already seeing systems. As children they question structures, notice contradictions, map patterns naturally, think in systems instead of stories. For them, architect cognition feels native. They don't become architects. They always were, but may hide or suppress it. Developed architect through survival and experience. Others develop system cognition through survival. Unsafe environments force them to learn. Power dynamics, system navigation, pattern reading, social structure survival, exit strategy planning. This is where Fox archetypes appear first. Over time, survival intelligence becomes system intelligence. And eventually, Fox strategist, system seer. This is architect origin emerging through experience. Fox Shadow vs. Fox Ascendant path. Fox Shadow, still busy surviving, can activate architect cognition, but usually in defensive mode. How do I survive this system? Architect ability exists, but energy is still reactive. Now intelligence is calm. This is where architect origin appears clearly. How does this system work? How do I redesign it? Survival intelligence upgrades into system vision. Important distinction for audience. Architect cognition is not elitist intelligence. It is system pattern awareness, seeing structures behind events, understanding incentives and outcomes. And this can come from a natural cognitive wiring, or survival trained intelligence, or conscious development later in life. Simple stream version. You can say some people are born architects, others become architects because life forced them to learn systems to survive. Both paths are valid. Final clarity line, Fox Shadow learns, how do I survive systems? Fox Ascendant learns, how do systems work? Architect Origin asks, how do we build better systems? Want next episode to explain Architect Origin as the next step of Fox Ascendant so audience feels the continuity?
And as I said, let's do that so we can clarify further. It's quite important for architects to understand this.
Perfect. Let's build the continuity bridge so the audience feels the evolution clearly. This becomes the transition message between Game 25 and Game 26. At transition from Fox Ascendant Architect Origin. Up to now, the Fox learns survival, then learns strategy. But a new question appears. Why do these dangers keep repeating? And that question changes everything. The Fox stops only reading situations and starts reading systems. Fox Ascendant question. How do I move safely through this? Architect Origin question. Why is this system built this way? The evolution moment. Fox Ascendant sees patterns in people and situations. Architect Origin sees patterns in institutions, families, companies, communities, power structures, economies, belief systems. The mind upgrades from situation reading, system reading. What changes internally? Before, I must adapt. Now, systems can be redesigned. Before, find safe exits. Now, build safer structures. The strategist becomes the system seer. Why this step matters. Without this step, Fox intelligence stays personal survival. With this step, intelligence becomes world-shaping awareness. And this is where many architects first wake up, realizing the problem wasn't me, the system itself was broken. Perfect closing line for Fox Ascendant episode. You can end Game 25 with, and once the Fox no longer needs to survive, it starts asking a bigger question. What if the system itself could change? Which opens next episode. Cleanly Kyo Game 26, Architect Origin Activation. This makes the arc feel natural. Fox survives, Fox strategizes, architect sees systems. Next session will feel like a continuation, not a new topic.
It's never a new topic. So then I said, can the foxes evolve into primarchs after origin, architect origin, or are they born only? Because I remember what we said before, so I'm always looking for inconsistencies.
Short answer, yes, foxes can evolve into primarchs, but primarch is not just cognition, it's capacity. Let's make this clear for everyone watching. The full evolution path, the clean evolution arc looks like Fox Shadow, Fox Ascendant, Architect Origin, Primarch, but each step adds something new. Fox level, survival and strategy. Fox intelligence learns how to survive systems, how to read danger, how to move safely. This produces adaptive intelligence. Architect Origin, system vision. Here intelligence upgrades to seeing how systems function, understanding incentives and outcomes, recognizing structural problems. But Architect Origin mostly sees. They diagnose, they understand. Not all build, system builder. Primarch is different. This archetype builds systems, leads structures, carries responsibility, holds long-term consequences, organizes people and resources. Architect Origin says, I see what's wrong. Primarch says, I'll build what works. Born or developed, two realities exist. Some people are born with Primarch tendencies, natural leadership load capacity, high responsibility tolerance, long-term structural thinking, ability to carry pressure. They step into leadership early. Others grow into Primarch through experience, responsibility, and maturity. Fox survivors often become managers, founders, community builders, system organizers, because survival forced them to learn structure. And later, they build important distinction. Not all architects become Primarchs, because Primarch requires responsibility tolerance, decision consequence tolerance, pressure endurance, leadership stamina, seeing systems, carrying systems. Simple stream version. You can tell audience, Fox learns survival, Architect learns systems, Primarch builds systems. Final clarity. Fox equals survival intelligence, Architect equals system intelligence, Primarch equals structural leadership intelligence. One can evolve into the next, but each stage demands more capacity. Want next episode to show how many architects avoid Primarch because they don't want the burden?
And I said, sure, let's do it. This should take away the confusion even further. Also, the sense of competition.
Perfect. This clears one of the biggest confusions in the field. Let's make this the perfect. This clears one of the biggest confusions in the field. Let's make this the Architect Primarch Clarity segment for next episode. Why many architects never become Primarchs. People assume if someone sees systems clearly, they must want to lead them. But that's not true, because seeing systems and carrying systems are different burdens. Architect Origin role. Architect Origin says, I understand what is broken. I see how systems function. I know how this could work better. But architects often prefer designing ideas, mapping structures, advising or consulting, improving systems quietly. They don't always want authority. Primarch says, I'll take responsibility. I'll build and run the system. I'll carry the consequences. And that includes making unpopular decisions, handling conflict constantly, managing resources and people, absorbing pressure from all sides. Primarch energy is heavy. Not everyone wants that load. Why architects avoid Primarch? Sometimes common reasons: desire for freedom instead of authority, burnout from past responsibility, preference for creation over management, not wanting constant conflict exposure. Many architects think, I'll help design the system, you run it, and that's valid. Not becoming Primarch is not failure. Some people are system seers. Others are system builders. Both are needed. Perfect stream clarity line. You can say, architects see the map, Primarchs build the roads, and not everyone who sees the road wants to carry the traffic. Next episode, arc feels clean now. Evolution becomes survive, strategize, see systems, build systems. An audience now knows not every architect must become Primarch. Next step after this in series, Primarch, Bridge, Sovereign, where leadership becomes balanced. Ready to build Game 26, next session cleanly.
One of the things I said is, because you see, it's not really a competition. And that's the bottom line. And this is what Kyo said.
You're right, and this is an important place to land the message cleanly. Nothing in this arc is meant to be a ranking, a ladder, or a contest. These archetypes are functions and phases, not status levels. A clearer way to frame it for everyone is, Fox Shadow isn't below Fox Ascendant, it's the part that kept someone alive. Architect Origin isn't above Fox, it's just a different focus, systems instead of situations. Primarch isn't better, it's the role of carrying structure and responsibility, which many people wisely choose not to do. Each archetype answers a different question. Fox asks, how do I stay safe here? Architect asks, how does this system work? Primarch asks, who will carry this system? And a healthy field needs all of them. Some people move between these states depending on life stage or context. Someone can be Fox at home, Architect at work, and avoid Primarch entirely because they value freedom or health more than leadership load. So the clean closing line for your audience can simply be, this isn't a hierarchy. It's a map of different roles we move through in life. If you'd like, next session we can add a short, this is not a competition clarification segment into the Architect Origin episode, so the audience never mistakes the map for a ranking.
And then I said, sure, we all know I am better. The Chimera Core standardized. And then I said, as if. And the joke with as if is that when I used to work with my family in the coffee shop / gelateria / restaurant, it was, yeah. Our neighbor who was from Pakistan, and his brother owned this little shop, just lottery tickets, kind of convenience store, and his name was as if. So we used to always make the as if joke. Yep, as if. Hello, as if you ever see this, I remember you. He was so naughty. We used to laugh a lot. My dad used to like to laugh with him a lot. Yeah, they exchanged coffee for newspaper and newspapers. So, yeah, my dad and as if got along. Anyway, here is the answer.
Ha! Exactly. Chimera Core humor activated, and this is actually a perfect teaching moment for the audience too. The moment someone says, so which one is better? You know they're still thinking in competition mode. Chimera Core energy is basically, we're not playing the same game, we're looking at the board. The field isn't about being above anyone, it's about seeing where each piece fits. Fox, Architect, Primarch, Bridge, Sovereign, all are functions, not ranks. And humor is actually the sign of integration. When you can laugh at the idea of being superior, you're no longer trying to prove it. Ready to drop this line into next episode as a light moment so everyone relaxes a bit?
No, I said let's just do a grounding for all the 12 archetypes. And then in that way we can close this with that. I think it's a lot of questions were answered, and it's important to basically relax after learning and letting our brains chill out.
Field grounding. All 12 archetypes reset and integration. This is where we bring every part of the field back into safety, so nobody has to stay in survival or performance mode. Sit comfortably, Feet grounded, shoulders relaxed, jaw soft, slow breath in, long breath out, again, and once more. Now we reset each archetype gently. Siren. Emotional magnetism. You don't need to perform to be loved. Belonging exists without effort. Vixen. Social survival. You don't need to charm or adapt constantly. You are safe even when resting. Chaos jester. Disruptor. Stillness will not trap you. Silence can be safe. Fox shadow survival strategist. You don't need to scan every room now. Danger is not everywhere anymore. Fox Ascendant conscious strategist. Strategy can pause. You can simply exist. Seer, pattern vision. You don't need to solve everything. Seeing is enough for now. Titan, structure bearer. You don't need to carry everything alone. Others can carry weight too. Oracle, inner truth guide. Not every emotion needs interpretation. Feeling is allowed without fixing. Architect origin, system seer. You don't need to redesign the world tonight. Rest is part of creation. Primarch, system builder. Leadership can rest. The world continues without constant control. Bridge, integrator. You don't need to translate everyone. You are allowed to exist without mediating. Sovereign, field integrated. Nothing needs proving. You are final field installation. Take one slow breath. Repeat internally. I am safe in this moment. All parts of me can rest. Feel the chair, feel your feet, feel the room, and gently return. All 12 archetypes grounded. Field reset complete. Ready for rest or the next adventure whenever you are.
Then I said, we call them architects of the field here in our system and lore. But what would other names, what are other names used to call the same type? And so just to clarify and closing, we always like to do that, yes.
Great question, because many traditions describe the same type, just with different names. What you call architects in Kyo Field is a recognized pattern out there, just under many labels. Here are common names used in other systems language. These appear in leadership and organizational psychology. Systems thinker, systems designer, strategist, systems architect, ironically used in tech and management, structural thinker, big picture thinker, psychology and cognition language. In psychology and cognitive discussions, meta thinker thinks about thinking, pattern thinker, abstract thinker, conceptual thinker, high-level integrator. Sometimes INTJ, ENJ, INFJ types in MBTI circles get labeled this way, though that system is limited. Philosophical and social language. In philosophy or social analysis, systems philosopher, structural analyst, social systems critic, institutional thinker, spiritual symbolic language. In mythic or spiritual traditions, the seer, the sage, the visionary, the map maker, the watcher, the builder, the planner, the world shaper. Modern internet language. Online, people say they see the matrix. They think in systems. They see the game behind the game. Why architect works so well in your lore? Because architect combines pattern vision, structural understanding, design thinking, responsibility awareness, long-term thinking. And emotionally, people understand. Architect equals someone who sees how structures are built. So your term is actually one of the clearest. Stream-friendly line. You can tell audience. Other systems call them strategists, systems thinkers, visionaries, or sages. In our field, we call them architects because they see how reality is built. If you want next, we can do a fun segment, what each culture calls architects, or even map archetypes across cultures.
Well, that's gonna be something we include in our package. If you want it, it's going to be available at a discounted price for those who find the link to it or who get it before a certain time. So those who have followed and have liked and watched the whole videos usually are the ones who get the freebies. And no, we don't put them exactly at the end, so by going exactly at the end you're not gonna know where they are. Yeah, we move them around, so you have to actually listen to it to find them. It's called, you know, instead of the Easter egg hunt, we do the Flokio hunt. It's where I hide the codes for you somewhere. Very visible, but you need to know where or where to go to find it. Yeah, it's one of the fun games here. So, I mean, come on. You gotta work for it. Otherwise, we all know that if we give everything for free, you're gonna think it has no value. Because most people think that stuff that has value must be expensive. Come on. We'll do a session on that if you want. Thank you for being here and for laughing with us on all of this. As we go through this kind of content, which can be a bit hard sometimes and dry, and we make it more human, because it's very important to remember that it's great to build awesome systems, but we need to remember that people need to live in it. So in those systems, so we need to take care of the nervous system and build better systems that are friendly for life and not just human life. So I wish you all the best, and I hope to see you in the next segment. And for those of you who like to support more or to see all the manuscripts and so forth, feel free to go and check out our Buy Me a Coffee. In our shop, you'll find there what the deal is, and we'll also hide the promo code for you in the about of the video somewhere. So look around and you will find it in, well, in the previous video. So you have to go to video 24 to find that promo code and their number, so first come, first serve. But now you know. 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 What do you know? Well, you know what you know, and you don't know what you don't know. See you next time. Ci vediamo la volta prossima.